Just briefly to mention an issue on resignation before I leave the podium. Section 14 of the Political Parties Act provides on how members of a political party resign from political parties. If you are a member of a political party, but you are an MCA, you write your notice of resignation in form of a letter to the clerk of your county assembly. Let them be in duplicate so that whatever the clerk will receive, you will submit one of the notices to register political parties. Remember that as a member of a county assembly, your resignation only takes effect upon submitting your notice to the clerk of your county assembly. That's section 14 of the PPA. Then it is only upon receipt of that notice by the registrar that registrar will then move to remove you from the membership list of the political party you are resigning from. You are required to submit this notice. You see, you are submitting to the clerk, the county assembly. I'm talking about MCAs. Then there'll be in duplicate. The MCA, the clerk will remain with one. They'll stamp on another one. That is the one you will take to register political parties within 7 days of having submitted to the clerk of the county assembly. The same rules apply to members of parliament with modification. As a member of parliament, you also submit your notice of resignation to the clerk of the relevant house. If you are in the Senate, the clerk of the Senate. In the National Assembly, clerk of the National Assembly. Equally, you submit, and we put out a notice on this, by the way, on our Twitter page and even in the media, we've advised. You also submit that notice, your copy now, to the registrar. That's when registrar will now be, she is moved to remove your name from the party membership list. Let's not mix two things, because we are now talking about resigning from a political party. If you wish to resign from a political party and you are an MCA on Kenya Social Congress and you want to go to Millicent Abuzo's party and you want to resign, your notice of resignation, you address the clerk of your assembly. If you are an MCA in Bungoma, you write to the clerk of Bungoma County in duplicate. Anytime you want to resign, but there is a catch. If you are moving to Millicent's party because you want to be a candidate, then you need to have resigned before Millicent submits her party membership register to register political parties. Millicent has been told now that the deadline for submitting that party membership register is 26 March 2022. But she may choose to submit it today. So make your decision, but know that the end date is 26 March 2022. Osodo, Mheshimiwa, one meeting. When you look at what Parliament has provided, is that you submit your party membership register to registrar by 26 March 2022. When you read the law as it is, there is no wiggle room. That's why you need to have people who want to contest on your party by 26 March 2022. Thank you. Registrar will be addressing that shortly. Registrar will address that. The next limb of resignation is people resigning from offices. If you are a member of a county assembly, you want to resign from office for purposes of contesting in a different level of government. Remember, we have two levels of government: the national government, which has parliament and the president and respective deputies. Then we have the county government, which has the governor, the deputy, and the MCAs. If a person wishes to resign from one level of government because they intend to contest in election in a different level of government, then when you read the Constitution, you need to resign before you submit your nomination papers to the returning officers. They say before you are nominated. However, and this will also be addressed in plenary, there is a case now pending in Court of Appeal on these issues, and the decision will be out, I think, on 18th March registrar. Thank you so much.
I don't know. Can you note the question? Then we responded there as we spoke, as we agreed.
Thank you very much for the questions. think you are properly guided. We had agreed that the questions will come after the presentations. I hope now we respect that. But because these are hot, and we have quick answers for it. Question one: members who are not registered voters on IBC. Yes, we do recognize members who are not registered voters, but there is a minimum threshold that is required of every political party to have as registered voters. There is a minimum threshold of registered voters. Section 7(1)(a) of the Political Parties Act says that for a party to be fully registered, they must have 1,000 registered voters in more than 24 counties, more than half of the counties. So that requirement of 1,000 registered voters as members of political parties is provided for in law. But that does not mean we don't recognize them. When we request for membership, we give you members that are registered voters and members that are not registered voters. Even as we give you the register, we'll be very willing to give you a register of those who are registered voters and those who are not. Those are your members but not registered voters. We have them. But the minimum threshold of 1,000 members in more than 24 counties is a condition of the law. Number two, we have no refined register, we agree. But there are also parties who continue registering. So if we give out and say, this is your register, go and use it, there is a danger of leaving out some members who have not been uploaded, but that data is with the political parties. So if you are comfortable with what we have, we'll be very willing and ready to give every party the register. If there's a party that is continuing to register and there are some data that's uploaded, not uploaded, bring them, bring the register, we verify that with what we have, include those who are not on our membership that we have already recruited, and then we give you a final register. Is that clear? The third one is on issues of public officers. Can they be on a party list? Membership list and party list. I don't. Public officer, there is nothing that stops them from being members of political parties. The only thing that they are not supposed to be is officials of political parties. Party list given for a special election. Yeah, I think probably that one I'll give it to, in my understanding, there is nothing that stops one from being on that list. But they must resign upon being elected through that process of special election. But there is no harm in them appearing in the list. But once they are successful, they must resign from office. They cannot hold two offices. Thank you, but I'll ask the registrar to add something to it.
Mr. Ali, you are quite right. There's nothing that prevents a public officer to be in a list because it's administration that I can be elected that particular time. However, he must decide once nominated. There was another question that I wanted to respond to about somebody asked about the once we use Millicent Party. Once Port Kenya submit a list before the 26th, can the members continue being updated?
No, amending the list.
Can they continue amending the list?
Yeah.
Up to 26?
Yes.
There's a catch. Once you submit your register, the registrar is obligated to certify that register and give to the party 7 days after. So once you submit it, please 7 days after we give you a certified register. Once you have a certified register, then you cannot amend it. Already you have crossed that period. So the best thing is to know when you want to hold your political parties primaries. Then as close to that date, so that you don't block your members, as close to that date, then you give your membership list. And then we certify it, then we give you within 7 days. So after the register is certified, then you cannot be able to continue amending the register. Okay? 9, yeah, that is when we are saying if you submit on 26, then within that particular period is when we are talking and certifying the register. Yeah, that is if you give the edited 26, that is when you have had conversation of certification and then we give you take YBC, you use it for party primary. Yeah, that is the period. But should the party choose to use the register earlier, because nothing prevents a political party to start its nomination tomorrow, and then they want the register. So then you bring whichever time you want, then within 7 days we give you, then you proceed to do your party primaries of the phone. And then on the 9th, you submit the same register IBC. So when does your political party need to use the register? If you are using it for purposes of party primaries, then it's the date. Calculate the date that you are supposed to say and know that your registrar will need 7 days. Then you calculate backward. Yeah, by that, then when you are given the register, then you are able to move and do it. But on 9, then the same register you submitted to IBC. I think it's clear. The parties that no party that does not conduct primary, they do. The difference is that there is direct nomination, direct method, and indirect method. If you are using the indirect, like interviews, like delegates, like consensus, all those are the direct method. Direct method is where you use now the register for university something. People queue, line up, you conduct a ballot. That is the direct method. The indirect method is where you use other methods like consensus, like interviews, like you just select a person, you know this is the right person, you have conducted your research, and then you have interviewed people out there, and then they have told you this is the best candidate for your party. Then when you start is party primary, it's nomination, because nomination is the manner in which a political party comes up with a list of candidates for the election. So you conduct either way. So you need the register. We can confirm whether the candidates you have chosen are actually members of your party. So you still need it at a particular time to confirm the membership of your party. Because should the candidate not be members of that political party, what will happen during the nomination day, and it has happened before, they go to, during the registration of candidates by IPC, and then they go, they check that. That's the reason why you're also submitting the register to IPC, is that during nomination day, that is the register that shall be used. If your member is not in that register, then you can't disqualify, because for you to run for election, you must be a member of the political party that is giving you the ticket. So I think we are clear. So allow us to continue, then we ask the other questions.
Thank you, Registrar. My name is Dan Kinuthia. I'm the Director of Compliance in the Office of Registrar of Political Party. I will take you through 3 checklists, and I will be very fast. The first one will be checklist on merger. The next one will be coalition, the ordinary coalition, and the last one will be checklist on coalition political party. Good morning, Danu. Okay, so okay. Now, I will start. And somebody said that you wanted a precedent or an agreement of coalition. I'm not going to give a precedent or a sample. For me, I will tell you what the agreement will contain. I don't want to copy. You know, a story is told of a lawyer who was preparing precedent on a train that has had an accident. So he used the precedent of a motor vehicle. So when you were talking about particulars of negligence, he said the driver, the driver of the train was negligent because he failed to swerve the train. So he refused, he forgot to remove that of swerving from it, because those are two different. So he said they failed to swerve the train, so they could not apply. So he want you to have an agreement that fits your circumstances. Now, I will start with the mergers as we speak. And right from the onset, it's good you know when two parties enter into a merger, they lose their identity. Party A merges with B. Party A will not continue to exist, Party 2 will not continue to exist, and we shall cancel their certificate. And we have a new party now that will be merged with the new outfit or that out of merger. So you have to be careful from the onset what you want, because if you choose a merger way, you lose your identity. But there are two ways. There are two types of merger, where one is merging to an already existing political party, where one political party is dissolved and joins an existing political party. Party A will dissolve and will become part of Party B. So we shall cancel that one. Although you also cancel this one, but you have a new certificate now of merger. But so you see the two parties will cease to exist, but we shall have a new entity, but you have the name of the Party B. So the other one, can you now hear me? Thank you very much. So saying there are two types of merger. The first one is where you merge to an already existing political party. So the second one is merging to a new political party, which entails dissolution of the merging political party to form a new entity. This is where Party A will merge with Party B, and the new party will be Party C. So we shall cancel the two certificates. So that is merger. So we shall no longer have Party A and B anymore when they merge. Now, these, you know, what is going to happen? The merging parties will deposit an agreement with the registrar of political parties. So I want to say right from the that deposit is not an event; it is a process. By process, I mean the registrar has a role to play in that deposit, in that agreement. So you not bring to us any agreement and tell you why. It is a deposit. Whatever you have, we accept. So there are some things we will check. And one of them, there are some documents we'll ask from you. The first one is merger agreement, duly executed by the political party authorized officials. There we go to individual independent party. We find these people who are executing this agreement. Are they the authorized? You know, remember you go back to your constitution. Who are authorizing your constitution to sign the document? So that is something we shall check. So if it is signed by the wrong people, it will be rejected by the registrar. We also seek a form for PP20, PP21. We have those forms. You get those are the forms that we signed that you have agreed to form that to enter into a merger. We shall also have a documentation showing that the rules and procedure of each of the political party entering into the merger related to the formation of merger have been followed. So here, you know, you want to go. We are going. It is your rules that are getting into this merger. If your constitution does not allow a merger, then you cannot get into a merger. But if you look even currently, the constitution of whenever you tell you your constitution is not compliant, we check whether it has gone to all that. If it has it has nothing to do with the merger, we tell you go amend your constitution. But as of now, when you are getting to merger, we are following your constitution. So you follow your rules and procedure. Those rules were made by that political party. So we shall also have minutes duly signed by authorized official of the meeting of the party organ of each of political party sanctioning the merger. So if it is your NEC that has got the powers to authorize a merger, we shall require minutes from that NEC. If it is NDC, that NDC, but it must be signed by the authorized officials. We go constitution, rules, regulation, and of the new political party. You see now, you are merging to form a new outfit. We shall require constitution. We also require rules, regulation. So it must be there. The content will be determined by you. Remember, you also require a name, symbol, color of the new political party. You see, merger, you are becoming one. So those one will be required. I proceed. Particulars of member of the governing body of the new political party, both at national and county level. You know, we are talking governing body. Who be the new outfit? Who are the governing body? And remember, the governing body to be accepted by a registrar must have some meet certain criteria. Who are these at the county level and the national level? You remember you also require a physical location, address, contact, names of the new of the counter of the and the names of the counterparts of the new party, head office and the county office. All those will be required. So, but you know, you can choose to be like once we merge, we shall use the offices of one of the political parties. So, if you tell us like that in your agreement, we'll go by that. Certificate of registrar of the merging political party. You see, when you merge, you know, we are going to cancel the individual certificates to issue the one. So we shall return to us the old certificates. Now, we go to the content of the agreement. I said I'm not going to tell you how it will look like. I'll tell you what it should contain. One, name, abbreviation, symbol, colors, and slogan of all the merging political parties. I think that one is clear. Interim structure responsible for overseeing the merger. We need to have to see that interim structure that overseeing the merger, which will include appointment, procedure, timeline for appointment, function. I proceed. We shall also require name, abbreviation, symbol, slogan, and colors of the new political party. Ideology of the new political party. Even now, right now, registrar is not allowed. You cannot register a new political party if you don't have. You don't tell us what are your ideology of your political party. Even now, we shall require you have your ideology. What are your ideology? So, procedure for formulating governing body for the merged political parties. You know, these are two number of political parties which are coming together. So, what are the procedure for formulating your governing body? The same thing. Procedure for formulating party constitution, rules and regulation. You know, maybe you're operating differently, the other one party was operating different, but you are coming together. The procedure we also need to see. Asset management policies and procedures. You need to be, you know, you had different assets. These assets are coming together now will be as asset at the one merger. So what are the policies? Policy on membership. I'd like to say here, a member of individual political party will not be forced into a merger. If you are a member and you don't agree with becoming a member in that merger, you can write to registrar within 30 days, and the registrar will remove your name from your individual political party, and that's so that you don't become member of the merger. You don't become part of the merger. This one I don't want to go into that because this thing will be provided to you. Dispute resolution procedure for conflict arising before the new political party constitution take effect. You see, when you are doing merger, it's about to have some conflict. So, what are dispute resolution procedure? So, you want to see how we'll be resolving those disputes. You see, you want to see like the organ that will be resolving that. You see the term of those members in the office, eligibility criteria to be in that organ, appointment of that organ, and all the rest, rest of the bulletin are put there. The second, as I proceed, procedure of withdrawal from the merger. You know, you have entered. It is good to have a room for exit. Sometimes it may not work. How will you exit? You want to see that provision, what is the procedure for withdrawing from that merger. And we say withdrawal, remove that, the rest of the procedure, those are the details. So, grounds for termination of merger. So, when you are getting at the procedure, you must also give the grounds because you will not operate outside those grounds. So, you tell them the one ground A, B. So, if those grounds are violated, then you can exit. Those are what are called ground for termination of merger. I proceed. Proceed. And you see the last part there is procedure for termination of merger agreement. That is prior to cancellation of certificate of full registration and for merging parties. You also need to know that decision of termination of merger shall be in writing and shall be accompanied by the minutes of the meeting of the interim structure responsible for overseeing the merger, the minutes. and the minutes shall be there. The quality of the minutes shall be have that quality. So you understand, you just don't walk out. And in addition to leave to leave must be in writing. That is our checklist for merger. We shall have a discussion after this. Let me move to the next one, and this one is checklist for coalition. Now, this coalition was there before. That's the reason the registrar said the coalition as we know that. Coalition, I have not gone to coalition political party. This is now coalition. These are one or more parties coming together. They remain distinct. They are not going to lose their identity. If it's a party A, remain party A. If party B, remain party B. But now they will have a coalition. And they will not be issued with a certificate. They retain their independent certificate, their distinct certificate. Even the law before this amendment, those coalitions were there. So, and remember we have two types of coalition. Pre-election coalition. This is where the agreement has to be deposited with the registrar at least 3 months. Those are 90 days before election. The timelines were given by my colleague. The other one was election coalition. But remember, this coalition will not have the distinct colors. The colors are for those, if it's party B, retain it as color, symbol, and the rest. The party B, the same. For this one is the post-election is 21 days after signing the agreement. Come to the document to be deposited with the registrar. They are quite similar to the one for merger, but because the coalition will be a little different. One, registrar will require some of these documents, all of these documents, not some, it's all of them. You see your cover letter, you have a cover letter outlining the requisite coalition document signed by the authorized person of the parties in the coalition. I had explained that. So, the coalition agreement, there has to be a coalition agreement. As I said earlier, it has to be signed by authorized official of the coalition parties. Party A, who are the authorized people? You come, we shall check your constitution. Who are the people, who are the parties? If it is SG and the chairman, then those are the ones to sign. Commissioner of Food, like myself, have to commission. And shall bear the date of when the coalition agreement was signed. I proceed. We shall also require minutes of the meeting of the organ mandated to authorize party to enter into coalition. If it is NEC, you know that we go by your constitution. If it is NEC, you provide the minutes of that NEC. The content of the minutes and the quality of minutes is there. A declaration affirming that the rules and procedure for entering into that coalition have been followed. So, if your rules do not allow for coalition, then you cannot enter into coalition. So you must follow the rules. Statutory form for P19, that is statutory form for coalition. It has to be there. So if you want those forms, they are available in our offices. Code of conduct has to be there. That's another document we shall require. Signed by authorized officials and commissioned by a commissioner for all. Particulars of governing body and county official of the coalition. So, we also need to know who will be your governing body for this coalition. Even if it does not have a certificate, who will be your governing body? At the national level and county level. I proceed a printed and electronic format of the symbol and color of the coalition. That is a must. So, content of this coalition agreement. Name and abbreviation. I stated that has be there. Parties to the coalition, we must know who are these political parties. If they are 10, who are they? We need to know who are these parties who are coalescing, forming this coalition. We need to have objective of the coalition, include the intention to form a pre-election and post-election coalition. So we must know the objective. The objective, it is the independent party to determine. Policies of the coalition, we need to know. overall structure of the coalition. We need to know the structure. We see whether it is NDC coming to NEC, all that until the grassroots. We need to see that's the structure. Also, decision-making structure, rules, and procedure. You ought to know how your decision within that coalition, how it will be made, and by who. General organization and management structure of coalition, which will include national and county structures and system, roles and the responsibilities within the coalition. That one we shall also, that is one of the things we shall check in the agreement. You know, this agreement shall be like your constitution once you enter into this coalition. Criteria and formula for sharing position in coalition structure. We want to know how you have agreed who shall be the chairman, deputy chair, organizing secretary. We need to know the criteria that you are going to use. Coalition election rules. You know, how you are going to do election. You may decide this party will do the that is your own rules. It's a party to decide how are you going to do your election. It's upon you, the party. Those are your rule to formulate. Sorry. Enforcement and sanction mechanism and procedure for breach of any provision of the agreement. So, if we need to see how you are going to enforce your rules, sanction. If there is a breach of that agreement you have deposited with us, how is it going to be enforced? We shall also be checking on that. Procedure for amendment of the coalition agreement. You see, when you deposit in the registrar, there could be development. And you maybe need to adjust your coalition. You may probably want to add another party in the coalition. So you need to give us procedure for that amendment. If you don't provide for that procedure, then you come to us. You tell us you want to amend that amendment, where you have some difficult time. Dispute resolution mechanism. Please, we want to have how you are going to resolve your dispute. It's just like in the individual, but you also require that in your constitution. Dissolution of coalition agreement, you need, as we said earlier, but it has to provide some of this ground upon which coalition may be dissolved. We need to have that. You know, you might say that this coalition will be dissolved after 5 years. So by operation of the law, they will start dissolve after 5 years. So it is upon you. If you have to say it is upon the agreement by the coalition party, then we will go by that. That is about coalition. Now I'll go to the last one. And the last one is allow me. Coalition political party. It was not there before. Coalition political party, this is where one or more, two or more political parties come together. They are not going to lose their identity. But A, B, and C or D, it can be two or more. They are not going to lose their identity, but they will be issued with a certificate of full registration. Sorry, some people are not hearing me. So, coalition political parties. Two or more political parties come together. They are not going to lose their identity. They retain their identity. But upon deposit of the coalition agreement, they will be issued with a certificate of full registration. And this has been brought by the amendments 2022. This coalition agreement has to be deposited with the registrar 120 days before the date of the general election, of election. That is 9th April 2022. Please note Coalition political party is exempted from section 5 and 6 of Political Party Act. You know, this is for, you know, the procedure an ordinary political party is registered, you get provisional registration certificate, all that is exempt. With a certificate of full registration. However, this coalition political party is not exempted this coalition political will be required by the registrar to give us the that the member of the governing body meets the requirement of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Remember, we will have it is a name, and remember we have to do a search in the registrar. The name of that, the name we are going to have. It will have its own distinct colors. You may decide to use the color of one of the one of the party that is coalescing with one of the party that is forming coalition. Some of those are some of the like location those are contained in section 7 of Political Party Act, the official website. That you have to give us an undertaking to be. These are very similar to the coalition, the one I gave you. So I will be very fast on this one. I just cover it outlining the requisite person of the coalition political party. Them. Commissioned by a commissioner for oath, particular of the governing body and county. You must, but you have to tell us printed and electronic format of the symbol and the color of coalition political party. I said political party. Objective of policies of the coalition political party has to be provided. Overall structure of the you must provide them to us. General within the coalition, you must provide. criteria and formula of sharing position in the coalition policy. And governor shall be filled by the political coalition political party. Then the rest of the party, you say you are going to have a friendly fight, is upon you. So ukijifunga umejifunga kwa coalition these nomination rules. So we shall be looking at the nomination rules and we enforce them as you bring them to us. So make sure take time as you enter into us coalition, you look at it very well. The nomination rules. If you don't agree with the coalition party fielding a candidate at a certain level, mkubaliane. Enforcement and sanction mechanism and procedure for breach of any of the provisions of the agreement. Please, we also be looking for that. Amendment, procedure for amendment of the coalition political party agreement. So you must look for room for you look for amendment. Maybe at some point you may want to add another party in the coalition political agreement. You need to give us procedure, the procedure that will be followed in that exercise. And dispute resolution mechanism. I know a number of parties are coming together. It is about to have some dispute. How are you going to resolve the dispute? So you must have that. You want to see which is this organ, term of the term of the office of these people, of this individual will be this office, eligibility criteria of that organ, appointment. You may whether you are going to say the one who will come for this political party, the other. You must agree. You can see we want you to be bound by your agreement. Dissolution of coalition political party agreement. So I say it is always good to leave a room for exit because it may fail to act as you proceed. So how are you going to exit? You need to have a procedure, an agreement on how you are going to dissolve your coalition. You say after 5 years is how it will start dissolved by operation of the law. Whatever you have to tell us, whether you provide a mechanism that will be followed. So that is the checklist we shall be following for coalition political party. And now, when you come to plenary, we would like you to hear from you on area that you like us to maybe to adjust here and there, but it has to be adjusted within the law. So that is all. And the next presenter, don't know where it's available for ICT. Thank you very much.
There was a session here for you.
Now the plenary is open for everyone. Whoever has a question, I can bring the mic to you. Omugata is there. Well, Gina is there. You're there, you're there. Okay, I'll start from Omugata. But by the way, do you have any idea member inside the room? They're not here. Look, I had a message there. You can read that.
We'll take it.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, now because we have already, parties have already submitted the nomination, what will happen to the positions that comes up? How are they going to be in the nomination with the group?
Okay.
That is one. Number two, I think that that's the one on the year.
Yes, we'll respond. We'll respond.
That one, to get for party to get access to the is it one member, governor, senator, MCA, MP? What's the second one? I'll take three at one go. Three. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I said earlier, my name is Pierre from Kenya Social Congress. I did want to raise the question my colleague asked. Let us have a clearly from at least an elected representative. That's what I thought from it. So can we be clear? Is any one of them? Second question is on resignation. Before we say we do a body language, that is propagating the interest of another party's policy, you are resigning. Of course. Then on discrimination, I think who are supposed to resign when it comes to party officials. Thank you very much. I think the first is very fundamental that when a main government decides we also there are many members of the academy or other assembly who they are the party is concentrated and grow. They are written a letter to the party. They are written to the relevant houses and managing houses. I was wondering if the media mentioned the approval. I think that because now it is like the political party are not controlled. Once a member is elected and you have withdrawn that support, then the party are not able to do. You wait for 5 years, whether that person is supporting you or have the same idea, which you sign in court of conduct, we need to decide. And most of them are not following. How do you manage a political party if you cannot expose your members?
Maybe the name and which party? Can you give an example of one case where the party has submitted?
We have on too many members.
ODP?
Not if.
Okay.
Make it part of the idea. They are trying to
Sound.
remove them from parliament. They cannot do it.
Okay.
We want to go.
Thank you. Let's have two more, please.
Sorry, can we have those three answer then? Because
Let's have two more so that we can conclude.
okay.
There is a lady behind there. Gender.
I'll come to you. My question is because we say today in the market, where a come together with me and you have a or B, or you have A and B to get C. Then there is the window where one can withdraw. So my question is, what will happen with the withdrawing party? Will it resume its original
Okay.
Say your name and the party.
Because there are serious concerns about water at all. And I love the amendment in the new one. But do you, like, does it really have that much control about what is happening right now in terms of the membership rate? Let me give an example. We have members of our party who have found themselves once they check on their electricity system to belong to parties that they never gave consent to move to, or were not even aware. Now we live in Kenya and we know that technology is not accessible so easily everywhere. That means that there are a lot of unsuspecting people who believe they are in their parties and they will never know they are in some other political party. And this is happening. And one of the reasons that has been propagated is the possibility of fraud. And one has suggested that possibly there is a way in which people can access people's IDs and names from the IDC and then illegally register and suspecting Kenyans to other political parties. It has been suggested that we need to look at how our IT is going to be decided around that issue because we want to certify these, to close up membership lists, but those lists have to have integrity. So we need to look at the technology behind the list and to really check if there are political parties, specific parties, that could be guilty of fraud. Because certain people are finding their name only with certain political parties without giving their consent. This is an issue that is very important and key and central to these political parties, and we need to look at it. The other issue relates to the political parties discipline and the PPT, the tribunal. Now we cannot continue hiding behind the curtain. We know that there is a lot of corruption, fraud, machination that leave political parties with very little choice. Now, mostly the culprit is the PPT, and we need to find ways to engage with that tribunal, not to play kangaroo business with political parties. Where members have gone there to say our members are in discipline, we have internal mechanisms, and there have been outrageous decisions from that tribunal. I think action needs to be taken. So we need to find ways to engage with that tribunal ahead of disciplinary measures, the process where we have to go to fight before that tribunal. Because we all know, those of us who have been practicing there, know that there's a lot of injustice happening between that, and you want to urge the registrar, becomes the registrar of the workshop, we want to urge her not to relent, not to give in, or to allow her office to be used for political purposes around that political party.
Right.
Thank you very much for those questions, and I'll attempt to respond to some of them, and I'll also give other members from RPP to add something on them. The first question is about the nomination rules that have been submitted, and by Wangata Kufina. Yes, all parties have submitted the nomination rules, and coalitions that are forming now, whether they are coalitions or coalition political parties, what is their position in terms of the nomination rules? First of all, there is an attempt to amend the Elections Act. The bill is already in the House, in Parliament, in National Assembly, and if that bill goes through, there is a leeway. There is an exemption on coalitions and coalition political parties which are able to submit their nomination rules fresh. If also, it doesn't mean that parties or coalition parties will be locked out, because members of those coalitions have already submitted nomination rules and approved by IEBC. So within their coalition agreement, they can agree to use any of those approved nomination rules of the constituent parties. And that can be captured. Elected. You don't have to have one governor, one MCA, one a member of National Assembly, or one governor to qualify. Law. And the processes. And the responsibility solely lies with the party to be able to deem their members so that now, but of course there is now fair administrative action. That has to be followed, but eventually if the party goes if you have two parties that joins to form a new party, that is one option.